All right, hello everyone. Can you all hear me okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Awesome, perfect.
We hear you.
Yes, we can.
Yay, okay,
Hey,
awesome.
Tisha, can I ask a quick question
Yes.
before we get started? So this is the same is this a different presentation from the last one, right?
Yes, it's
Okay.
different.
So is there any way on that last one, it was a very long, remember, there was only one of us on Teams and that link was so long. I don't know if there's a, for the presentation. So
Yes.
I guess I could just email that out, I guess.
You know what
Or
I'll
is there a
do
better way?
is I will, after this presentation, I can send both links to, I can either send it to Matt for him, Matt Ketchum, to send out to everyone, if that's best, or if I get everybody's emails, I'm happy to send it to all the moderators. What works best for you?
I have no idea. I'll let Ketchum handle that one. I was just going to take them myself and make my own bit.lys and hand them and give them out to through email. Because we as presenters or hosts can email our participants. So
Okay.
if Ketchum wants us to do it that way, then we'll do it that way.
Actually, it might be better just to send them to Matthew because
Yeah.
Matthew has a better idea
Master
of
list.
exactly who was in.
Perfect.
That's great.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep, absolutely happy to do that for sure. All right, so we've got about 6 minutes left. I'm going to have people join in the same way as before through the Canva.live, and you can enter that code. I think it works pretty well for when we don't have everybody, we don't have like the Microsoft Teams chat for everybody to jump into on their own devices. So as people are jumping in, please go to Canva.live and put in the code 459250. And again, in this presentation, if anybody who's moderating just wants to stop me, I'm happy to do that, happy to go slower, go faster. So please let me know. And we'll start in about 5 minutes. Unless you think everybody is here. Is everybody here? Should we wait for 5 minutes? Just out of curiosity, do we have a pretty new audience, or do we have some people that were in the last session as well? Okay.
It's just easy. It's easier to unmic at this point. Not many people are in here just yet because this is kind of the bathroom break, getting
Gotcha.
their snacks and stuff. So I've got a few that are repeating for sure, but not sure yet. We got not even half the people are in here just yet.
Okay, perfect. That's good to know. So you just tell me when to.
I'll go through your class.
We had some feedback that was why was this one after the other one? Like we feel it should have been the other way around.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know what the purpose behind the scheduling was.
Oh, okay.
No,
We weren't sure if like maybe we missed something, or but this one seems like we wanted to do this one and then we'll do the design essentials.
I don't know. I'm sure Matt had a rhyme or reason for maybe I don't know. I'm not sure.
He always does. I'm sure I will get the answer from him. He's amazing.
He is amazing. Fantastic. Welcome those who are joining in. I love to see people in the Canva live. This is great. And I would love to know what your role is. So what grade level do you teach? If you're not in the classroom, what role do you serve in the district? It's always great as I see who's in the presentation. It helps me to know what things to share and pay attention to based on what you do. Awesome. 11th grade. Fantastic. ELA 7th. Great. Welcome, welcome.
We are at Byron. We are all elementary upper grade.
Pardon, was that a question for me?
No, just telling you what grades we teach, 3rd through 6th grade.
Oh, 3rd through 6th. Perfect. Awesome. Welcome. Great. So we've got, it sounds like we have middle, we have elementary, we have some high school. So we're all over. That's fantastic. ELA and Spanish, math, excellent. It helps too to know like subject areas because there's certain tools and features that I like to draw people's attention to if I know what contents are in the presentation. Fantastic. Welcome everyone. Great to have you here. We'll get started in about 2 minutes. Unless you feel like I should wait longer, if any of the moderators need to have me hold off, I will. Otherwise, I'll plan on starting right at 1:45. Fantastic. Thank you so much for sharing your areas that you teach. Awesome. Math, great. Spanish, love it. So if any of you were in the last session, I know I went pretty fast and I kind of jumped into some more advanced features. I will kind of spend a little bit of time, a little more time sharing about all the ways that you can use Canva in this presentation. And we'll kind of share some of the basics on the homepage and those kinds of things as well in this presentation, and some workflows that work really well when you are getting to know Canva, how you can start out, and like where we can move towards as far as creating really awesome workflows for our students. All right, it is 1:45, so we are just going to get moving here. Thanks so much for introducing yourself. That is awesome. My name is Tisha Richmond, and I am a Canva Learning Consultant. I have been a Canva user since about 2014. I started using Canva to create graphics for social media. I was hosting Twitter chats, and it was just a great way to do that. And then I started realizing, wow, this is actually a really cool tool to bring into my classroom. And I was teaching culinary at the time. I've been in education 25 years, over 20 years as a culinary arts career technical ed teacher. And I would have my students use Canva to create their menus and their recipes and logos for a food truck race that we were doing. And at that time, Canva for Education wasn't on the scene yet. So I was having them use the free version that didn't have all the bells and whistles that we get now for free with Canva for Education. And so I'm so excited to share my Canva love because I see it in classrooms every day. I am also a student engagement and PD specialist in the Medford School District. So if you go over the Siskiyou Mountains and you drop down into Ashland over the Oregon border, I'm right there in Medford. And I do kind of a 50-50 thing right now. So I am doing 50% student engagement and PD in the district and 50% Canva Learning Consultant. I wrote a book called Make Learning Magical a few years back, and part of the reason why I love sharing about Canva so much is it so fits my message. I love creating opportunities for students to be able to create, collaborate, pique their curiosity, get them communicating and critically thinking, and really try to create those unforgettable experiences for students where they can really demonstrate their learning in powerful ways. And Canva is one of those tools that really allows us to provide those opportunities for our students. If you want to connect with me, please send me an email. I'd be happy to share any extra resources that you can't find. If you have questions, I'm happy to answer them. And I also am on Twitter. That's kind of my social media platform of choice. And so you can find me there. I'm always sharing out the Canva love and sharing out lots of resources and highlighting things that are happening in the Canva community. So would love for you to follow me there. So I want to know, and this is an opportunity for you to use that Canva Live again, where you are as a Canva user. Are you a 1, not familiar, maybe a brand new user? 2, you're somewhat familiar. 3, familiar, maybe you use it occasionally. 4, maybe you use it daily to create your own content. And then 5 would be Do you use it daily with your students? Maybe not even daily, maybe like weekly. Have you used it to create opportunities for them? And that kind of shows me just where we're at, who is in the audience, what things to spend more time on, what things maybe to not spend as much time on. So I'm going to go ahead and show the responses here. It looks like, yeah, have used it long ago, but haven't used it recently. And I think, Stormy, you'll find that they have added so many new features recently, just even in the last month. Yeah, social media announcements, that's definitely how I started for sure. We have some 1s, we have a 4, we have a 3, quite a few 1s, a 2, awesome. That really gives me a good idea. And we have some, looks like some Canva Power users too. So Lucy, Laura, if you have ways that you love to use Canva and you want to share out, please use the chat to do that. I'm a firm believer in better together. And there might be something that you use that you love that I'm not going to share today. So I want to make sure that everybody is able to learn from you as well. So we are all over the board here, which is fantastic. I'm really, really excited to share with you all the power of Canva. So we are going to jump right in. If you want to share out on social media, we use the 3 hashtags Canva EDU, Canva Love, and Canva Tips. And so if you follow those hashtags on Twitter, you're going to find lots of ideas being shared out all of the time. There are challenges. There's just an amazing Canva community out there. And so we would love for you to join, share what you're doing, and then learn from others as well. So we are going to start by just kind of talking through, if I can get my screen to advance here. There we go. The agenda for today. And basically what I want to do in this session is I want to share what Canva for Education is. So kind of give you a brief overview. I want to share with you what Canva can do, because there's so many things that Canva can do, so many things that students can do with Canva. I'm going to give you the Canva homepage walkthrough. So when you open up Canva, what do you see? What do those different sidebar things do? How can you learn more about Canva, and how can you get started designing? And then we're going to jump into the Canva editor. I'm going to give you a rundown of the basics. And then I'm going to have you jump into a collaborative activity where you can kind of see how all of these elements can be used within the platform. And then I'm going to walk you through Schoology and how you can actually create an assignment in Schoology to give to your students and have them give that back to you. And then we will save time at the end for a Q&A where you can get your questions answered. And I will leave you with resources that you're going to be able to take and be able to continue learning about Canva as well. So we'll start by talking about what Canva for Education is. And Canva for Education is a visual communications platform. So it is a platform where you can visually communicate just about anything that you possibly can think of. So we are talking graphics, infographics, presentations. You can create videos in a number of different video formats. Your students can create comic strips to demonstrate what they know. They are going to be able to create bookmarks, book covers. The list is long, and I'm going to go into some more of those ways in just a moment as we explore. There are over 60,000 ready-to-use customizable templates in the Canva library. And so when you think about having your students create a book cover, having them create an infographic to show what they know, having them create a video, you're going to be able to find these base templates for inspiration so that they have a starting point, because sometimes creating is overwhelming when you start with a blank page. So if you give them that inspiration point and that place to get started, then their creativity can take hold and they will run wild with their ideas. I love Canva because the platform is powerful, it's very robust, but yet it's really simple and intuitive. So it's really easy to navigate around. You'll get in there and start playing, and you will get, the time will just escape you because it's so fun. It really creates this platform that's enjoyable to work in. You are really allowed to let your imagination run wild and create some really, really incredible things. And the editing tools are just amazing. I also love that Canva has these collaborative tools built in as well. When I started using Canva in 2014, Canva for Education hadn't entered the scene yet, and they were just kind of in their infancy stages. And these collaborative features weren't there, and they just have continually built up their platform of features. And so these features now exist where we can not only get students creating in really powerful ways, but we can get them collaborating in really powerful ways as well. And we're able to give them that real-time feedback, which is so important. So the owners of Canva were educators. They believe in education and they wanted to give back. So Canva was created for businesses, for nonprofits, and they decided to dedicate a certain portion of their business to give back to education and provide it free for K-12. And so it is something that is here to stay. And they want this to be a platform that globally students are able to jump in and create. I have a friend in Delft, Netherlands. She was my college roommate, and we communicate back and forth. And she sent me a message the other day saying, "You're not going to believe what her son came home with the other day." And she says they are doing their book reports in Canva. And she was so excited because she knew that I worked with Canva. And she says, "I've never seen him so excited to do a homework assignment before." And he was absolutely loving it. And so it's really, really a powerful tool for our students to just demonstrate what they know. Canva believes that education is a human right, and they want to empower the world to design and to create. And so they've created a tool that is different than most because it is going to allow students to be able to create in ways that maybe they weren't able to before. And so in the chat, I'm just going to give you the opportunity to put in your answers. I know we have a lot of 3s and 4s in this chat, as well as 1s and 2s. So if you are a 3 or 4 and you have been in Canva for a while, I would love to hear what makes Canva different. What do you notice about Canva that maybe you don't notice in other platforms that you use? So go ahead and put those in the chat. I'm going to continue moving on in my presentation, but I would love to highlight some of those ways that you think Canva is different than what you've experienced elsewhere. Here's what Canva thinks. They think that the skills that students learn are going to transcend the K-12 landscape. So when you think about getting students to be able to create, to collaborate, to communicate, to critically think, those entrepreneurial skills, those skills that they are going to need to learn to be flexible. All of those skills are learned as they're working in Canva that are going to translate into the workforce. When they leave our K-12 systems, they're going to be able to carry those skills with them, which is really, really important. We need creators right now. Students are getting information coming at them at 1,000,000 miles per minute, and they need to know what they can do with the information that's coming at them, and they need to know how to be flexible, how to adapt, how to create. I love some of these things that are coming into the chat. Interactive elements within the presentations, yes. And I'm going to show you some of the magic shortcut features in just a second that we have accessible through Canva, which are pretty fun. Also, all the templates ready to use or be edited, all the graphics and how user-friendly Canva is. Absolutely. The templates are amazing. And the fact that we have that inspiration point to start with, our students can start with, it just makes it so much fun. And it takes away the fear of that creative process. Canva makes us look creative without the hassle. It makes everybody look like a graphic designer when you may not have any graphic design background at all, yet you're able to create these really visually engaging designs. And I will tell you, I am a content creator for Canva as well. They're very, very picky about what gets accepted in the Canva library of templates because they want to make sure that what is being created, first of all, is quality and is accessible for students. And so they really take pride in making sure that that library of templates is really, really good. They take it very, very seriously. It seems to be more intuitive and user-friendly than other platforms like Pictochart, etc. Plus, they're very generous to us educators with their stuff. Absolutely. It is very intuitive, and they are a good group of people. They are very generous, and graphics are far better. Selection of font and flexibility of use. Yes, awesome. Thank you so much, everybody, for sharing all of those things, all of those ways that Canva seems to be different than maybe other platforms that you have used. So I've shared a little bit about what Canva is and why it's free. So I'm going to jump in now to what you can do in Canva. And so and thank you, Deborah. I am going to be showing how to use this with Schoology to create an assignment. So stay tuned. That is part of our presentation today. So I'm so glad that you asked. So I want to talk through some of the different things that you can create in Canva. So we'll start out with what teachers can do in Canva, because it's a really good starting point when you are just getting used to the platform and you're not sure how to use it. It's great to just get in there and create stuff. And so when you're thinking about maybe a worksheet or an activity or a handout, all of those can be created in Canva. And so you can choose from templates that are already there. You also can import in PDFs that you already own. So if you wanted to transfer something from Microsoft Teams or from Google or from your computer, you're going to be able to import those in, and I'll show you when I get out of the presentation how to do that. And then everything on that will be editable, where you can customize it and make it your own. So you can make things more accessible. You can make things more visually engaging. You can breathe new life into something that maybe was a little tired and outdated without having to start from scratch again, which is really nice. You also can create posters. So when you think about hanging up posters in your classroom, maybe posters for your bulletin board that has QR codes that's going to lead students to a form or something they need to access. Thinking about instructional videos. So when you are wanting to create videos of how to do something, or instructional videos that can be shared out asynchronously through Schoology for students to access after the fact, maybe students that were absent, you're going to be able to do that. And you're also going to be able to create all your presentations. Just like I am sharing a presentation with you now, you can create those presentations for your students as well. You can also go into live mode and have them interact like you're doing with me, so that you have that back channel, because oftentimes you have students in your class that maybe aren't the ones to raise their hand or ask the question, but they have questions too that they need answered, and they want to be able to share their voice. And so a back channel like this is going to allow those students to share their voice in a way maybe they weren't able to before. There also are lots of ways for students to have that in-class collaboration. So thinking about brainstorming in groups, or maybe having groups work together on a graphic organizer. Having students create a storybook. Maybe they write a story and then they illustrate that story in Canva and create a storybook of the story that they've created. Having them work as a team and do group work. Again, you could bring something in that you've done elsewhere, or maybe create something from scratch, but you don't have to, because in Canva, the templates are there. You're just going to edit them, make them your own, and then share them with students so that they can collaborate within them. Also, things that you may not have thought of. So there are actually game presentations in Canva that you can access and be able to play games in class, and they include all of the pages needed. They include the instructions and everything that you need to launch that game presentation with your students. I've even created digital breakouts in Canva, because you're able to create anything within a Canva design can be hyperlinked. So any graphic, any picture, any text can be hyperlinked, and you can actually create a website in Canva. And so I've created a digital breakout in a website design template before, and made a lot of different things in that website that was clickable, that would allow students to solve a puzzle or break out. And so lots of ways that you can get really, really creative within the platform. Also creating storyboards or having students do group projects, all of that is you're able to do. I love it, Joe. We are sold. Let's start. I love it. We're going to jump in just a second. This is fantastic. So capturing student learning is really easy in Canva too. And so when you think about students demonstrating what they know, whether they're curating their learning in a portfolio, or maybe creating an infographic to be able to display data that they're learning about in math and science, maybe the life cycle of a butterfly in elementary school, they can create a documentary video to be able to capture their learning in that way. And what's really cool is in the Canva template library, they have templates for Insta Reels, for TikToks, for YouTube, you name it, you're going to be able to find a YouTube template that fits that dimension. And so thinking about speaking in a language that kids love and understand, They speak in the language of TikTok. They speak in the language of Instagram Reel. So why not have them demonstrate their learning in that format? And it doesn't mean they have to post it on TikTok or post it on Instagram, but they can create in that language that they're already used to being in on their own devices. And then student journals. I was working with an ELA class in our district a couple weeks ago, and I was actually having them do a project on, they were going to do a book report. And so to kind of front load Canva and get them in there, we did a collaborative activity where they shared their favorite book and they explained why it was their favorite book. And then they created a book cover for their favorite book. So they kind of reimagined what their favorite book cover would look like. And then as we were doing this lesson, the teacher said, you know what? I'm having my students do these student journals, but the way I'm doing it is really clunky and it's taking forever to grade and it's not super intuitive for kids. And so we went and explored the student journals within the Canva library, and there's amazing options in there. And so she totally changed the way she was doing student journals. And she reflected back with me at the end of last week and said, oh my gosh, I'm so glad that I did this because it's so much better than what I was doing before. So really limitless opportunities. Having students do explainer videos. In my culinary arts class, my students would do explainer videos all the time of how to make a pie crust, how to make a mother sauce. And so they were able to create those videos. And at the time, the video capability wasn't in Canva. If it was back then when I was teaching culinary, I would have loved to use it because it would have made it so easy and fun for kids to be able to create those. And then having students create those posters of their learning. There was, I think it's 4th grade that learns about magnets. I'm not positive, but I was working with an elementary school in our district and they were learning about magnets. And so kids were to create a poster of what they knew, what they learned about. And they were so proud holding these posters. We sent them to publications and they were hung in the halls of their school. And they were so proud of what they created. And when we give our students the option and opportunity to just explain and show what they know in these really creative ways, learning comes alive for them. And it's really, really powerful. So here is a short list of the things that Canva can do, or better said, your students and you can do in Canva. And so looking at this, I would love to hear what stands out to you as maybe something that you would like to start out creating in Canva, or something that you want to get your students creating in Canva. If you are someone who's been in Canva before and maybe there's something that's not on this list that you've done or had your students do, I would love to hear those things too. So just go ahead and put in the chat some of those things that you would like to start creating or you'd like your students to create. Double-sided flashcards, yeah. There's some great templates in the library on flashcards. And what's cool too, and I would encourage you when you see a design in Canva template library, make sure you open it because most of those templates have more than one page. And so sometimes people think it's just one page, but when you open it, you realize that it's a really complete set of things. A resume, absolutely. That would be a great thing for our career and technical education classes too. I've even seen a really creative way to do resumes where a student would create a resume for a fictional character. So maybe a character in a novel, or maybe somebody, if you are a social science or social studies teacher, maybe they create a resume for a historical figure in history. So some really creative ways that you can do that as well. A presentation that I can use to reinforce letter names and sounds in small groups. That's fantastic. I love it. Book cover in art class. Those kids in that ELA class that were doing book covers had so much fun with it. They didn't want it to end. In fact, they didn't want, when the bell rang, they didn't want to go because they were having so much fun creating. I'd like to use the education presentation and graphic organizers. Yes, choice boards. I love it. Vocab notebooks, and they are killer to grade every week, so I bet. So using the online journal option I feel would be great. All excellent, excellent ideas. Thank you all so much for sharing. I love it. So I am going to back out of my presentation right now and go into a homepage walkthrough, which means I'm walking away from my chat for a moment. And so I will pop back here in a little bit. And if moderators in each of the rooms want to unmute, if there's questions that come up as I'm doing the walkthrough and you want to ask me verbally, please do that since I'm not going to have this right up and looking at it. Someone just shared, I integrated Canva into a lesson for the first time last month and was pleased with the results. I'd love to do more collaborative things with Canva like posters. We do a lot of those on paper right now. Absolutely. There's so much more kids can add when they do it digitally, and it's a lot easier to grade too when they can turn it in that way as well. Okay, so we are going to, first of all, I want to share with you that if you are not in Canva already, you can access Canva from ClassLink. So you should be able to see the icon there and go ahead and click on it to get into Canva. And then I am going to, in just a moment, have you jump into an activity that's collaborative. And I don't know how many people are in. I created 2 collaborative links because I wasn't sure how many would be here. So let's all jump into this first one. And if we run out of room, we'll go into the second one, but I'd rather us be all in one place if we can. So if you could just go to open up a Chrome browser and just type in the URL yellkey.com/protect. And this will be a URL that will only last, I think, 12 hours and then it will go away. But it's a good one. If you haven't used yellkey.com, it's a great one to create bit.ly links that you just need for a short amount of time. All right. So yellkey.com/protect. And I'm going to go into my homepage and start doing a walkthrough, and then we'll jump into a design in just a moment. So when you open up your Canva, this is what you are going to see. And there are basically 3 ways that you can start a design. The first way is you are just going to type in something in the search. And so there are so many things that you can type in, even different platforms that you love. You will be surprised at how many collaborations Canva has. So for instance, if I wanted to look for a Flipgrid template, I type in Flipgrid and it's going to show me templates that Flipgrid has added to our library that you can bring into a Flipgrid video. Same thing with Pear Deck. There are Pear Deck templates in here that you can access. And then you can just type in something that you would like to bring into your classroom. So let's say we type in comic strips. There are 172 comic strip templates in the Canva library. So for instance, if I clicked on this one right here, I can see that there are 6 pages to this comic strip. If I hover over this one, I can see that there are 6 pages. Now, if I click on this design, it is going to bring me into that design and it's going to allow me to edit it any way that I want to. So what's really cool about this is, let's say I, as the teacher, wanted to start out and have them do an about me. And I wanted them to share a little bit about themselves. It's like kind of a get to know you activity. I could change some of the things on this and send this to them as a template. It's going to give them the instructions. It's going to give them the blank template. And then it's going to give them slides with the little characters already added and the speech balloons. So they don't even have to go into the elements to find these. They can, but they don't have to. They've already been given this library of elements to start with and to be able to start creating their comic strip, which is really fun. So that is one way that you can search for templates in Canva. The other way that you can start designing and searching templates is going into templates right here. And in this part, you are going to be able to search by subject. So math, computer science, design, art, social studies. It's going to kind of be able to tell what you've done before, and it's going to give you options based on your past designs, things that are trending, whiteboard templates, etc. So this is a great inspiration point to just start searching and seeing what's possible. You can also search by things like the color green or business or whatever it might be and find templates that way as well. And then the last way that you can start designing is by clicking up here on create a design. It's going to give you suggestions based on what you've created before. It's also going to allow you to customize your dimensions of a design. It's going to allow you to bring in and edit photos that maybe you have in your computer. And it's going to allow you to import a file that you already have. So if you had that PDF on your computer and you wanted to bring it in and make it better, you could do that. Another way that you can import things is by going to projects and then going up here to the plus sign, and then you can import from an app or upload from here as well. And so if I wanted to bring something in from my OneDrive, Dropbox, or Google Drive, it would grab those things from those places and drop it into my projects as something that can be edited, which is beautiful. I have done that so many times, and really the translation from one platform to another is pretty incredible. It does a really, really good job. So we are going to jump into this design all together. So let's see if we don't have anyone in here yet. So I'm just going to type it in on this image here. It's yellkey.com, and what we had one protect.
I think we are all in the other collab, then we're in protect.
Okay, let me see which ones I have here. Maybe you're in this one. Here, let me do this. Yellkey.
We are all in protect also in my group.
Okay, perfect. Oh. Okay, people have added stuff. Okay, I'm like, this looks different than what it started with. That's okay. Okay, so we're gonna go to, so Yellkey. So I'm gonna show you some of the design features. And then I'm gonna have you, I love that everybody is just starting to play. That's fantastic. I wanna show you some things just to point out when you're in a collaborative activity. So first of all, you can see, I can tell there are 37 people up here. And I can see as you splash in who's joining us, so that's awesome. I also, keeps bouncing me out of, I think it's the Yellkey that doesn't like. I'm gonna click onto it from here. I think that the limit on a collaborative activity is 100. I could be wrong. That might be why I'm getting bounced out. I'm not sure. But when you are in a collaborative activity, you're also going to see where people are based on their little icons on the circle. And so one thing that I love to do when I'm doing a collaborative activity is I like to go down here to the grid view. And when I click on the grid view, I can see everything and where everyone is. And so for instance, if I had an activity and I wanted, I numbered people off in my class and I wanted 1s to be on slide 1, I wanted 2s to be on slide 2, 3s to be on slide 3, etc. I'm going to be able to see who is where. And so I can see I have a lot of people in slide 1 now. And so I might ask some of those people to move to maybe slide 9 or 10 or 6 where there's not as many people. And so it's a really great way for a teacher to see everything at once and be able to see where their students are and how their students are working. So what I'm going to show you some features and then I'm going to have you add to some of these collaborative drawings. So on the left-hand side is where all of my features are. This would be considered my sidebar. And so within a design, whatever type of design you created, whether it's a presentation, a comic strip, a poster, your templates within that design are going to have to do with that thing that you opened up a design for. And so for this was a presentation design template design. So all of the templates within this search are going to be presentation style templates. And so if I didn't like the one that I started with, I could go through, find another one that I like and bring it in. Most of the creativity that's going to happen within a design is going to happen within this elements tab. And elements is going to include anything that would be considered a graphic, a photo, a video, lines and shapes, stickers, charts, tables, frames, grids, and audio. And so you can see how this is like chock full of tons and tons of creative elements that students can bring into a design. So I'm going to give you an example. So let's say that I want to bring a beach ball into this design. I'm going to click on beach ball and then I'm going to click on one and it's going to pop into my design. Now I have these little white dots, just like I would find in other platforms, that are going to allow me to make this smaller, bigger. I also will be able to move it around my scene. I also am going to be able to, on some, to be able to change the colors. So some designs in Canva are going to let you change the colors and some aren't. So right now, when I'm clicking on this, I don't have any color options right here. So these two beach balls are not changeable as far as color. However, if I went to this one does let me change the color. And so here I can change this color to green or to blue, and I would be able to change that color to whatever I wanted. I love the shark. So that is, that's really fun with the different tools, is that a lot of the graphics you are able to change and to make your own. So another thing that I love with Canva is that you are able to bring in photos, and you also can remove the background from photos. So if I typed in the words, just trying to think of something, let me just put volleyball. And I want to look at photos. So I want to look at people playing volleyball. So if I wanted to bring in this photo and I wanted to remove the background, so maybe I wanted to make this a beach scene, but I wanted to make it look like people were playing on the beach. I could click on the photo, I can go up to edit image, and I can remove the background from that photo. And then it will look like those players are actually playing on the beach. So if I go to background now and I click on, put beach, I can put a beach behind these players. Now, if there are times where something won't totally erase the way that you want it to. What you can do once you are in that background remover, it's going to allow you to erase or restore. So if I wanted to restore part of this net because it took some of it away, I would be able to go in with my pen tool, change my brush size, and I would be able to bring back that part of that thing. This is erasing, restoring. There we go. Looks like it will only restore that much. And so some things do better than others with the restoring tool. This, if I wanted to erase this little bit right here, I could go in and erase and that would go away. And when I'm done, I can click done. So I love that feature. It's really fun to play around with. It will work on any photo that you bring in. So either photos that are in the library or photos that you upload, it will work with too. When you go into a photo also, you're going to be able to flip things horizontally or vertically. You also will be able to animate anything that you want to. And you also can move things forward and backward. So if I wanted to bring in another volleyball and I wanted to make it look like it's behind this person, I can move it backwards. So I can move things, I can layer as many things as I want within a design, which makes it really nice. Also, you can upload files. So if you want to upload things from Google Drive, from Google Photos, Facebook, any of those things, you can do that as well. And it will allow you to record yourself. So if a student created an infographic, created a poster, and they wanted to record themselves over that, they would be able to do that as well, to be able to not only explain what they know or show what they know, but they also would be able to explain what they know by sharing their voice. The text can come in both text blocks, and it can come in these kind of creative, stylized text groupings as well. And so students can have a lot of fun with just creating these really fun and creative style fonts to add to their designs. And then the background is going to allow you to change the background to whatever you want it to be. So you can choose a picture, but you also can just choose colors. So if you wanted to have just a sage green or a blue background, you would be able to do that as well. What's also nice within a design is that you're going to be able to give feedback. So what I'm going to do, a lot of you, you all have been adding lots of fun things. I love that you've been playing. So I am going to give you a couple minutes. When did we start? I'm losing track of time. Did we start at 1:15? No. What time did we start? I want to make sure that I value all of your time and make sure that I end on time. But I'm going to give you 2 minutes to continue playing, and I'm going to add a couple scenes here. So let's choose a, I'm going to choose a beach scene. And I'm just going to add it here at the end. And I'm going to have you just add anything that you want to this beach scene, and I'm going to duplicate this page a couple different times so that you can add it. And then you can play around with the background remover, play around with different font styles. You can play around with different elements. And we'll come back in about, I'll come back in 2 minutes and show you a couple more features before we jump back into the presentation. Okay. So we are done at 3, I believe, correct? We're doing good on time then. I was scared for a second. And you can see as people are putting in their images that a little, their initials are popping up, and I can hover and see exactly who it is. And so again, it makes it really nice when I go into grid view, I can see exactly where everybody is within my design. And so I would say that when you are working with kids, you definitely want to scaffold this to the grade that you're teaching. So if you were doing something with primary, first of all, I probably wouldn't start with a collaborative design. I would probably have them designing in Canva for a little bit before you jumped into a collaborative thing. Also, you might want to have their names on the slide. So maybe you duplicate a slide 30 times and you have each of their names on that slide, that they are only sticking to their slide. If you have older kids, like I was working with an 8th grade group, or no, a 6th grade group last week, and they were able to just claim a slide, and they were just able to find a slide that somebody else wasn't on, and they were able to work that way. As a teacher, I was able to see who was on their own slide and who wasn't, so I could quickly let people know if they were on a slide of somebody else's to move to a different slide. There's definitely digital citizenship that needs to be taught about how, just to be respectful of everybody's creation space and that kind of thing. But it's great for just a really quick activity, whether it is an opener activity, a quick exit ticket activity. Those are the ways that I like to use a design like this. Or use the whiteboard features in Canva too, which operates a lot more like a Jamboard kind of collaboration. So I could jump into a design here, and I could either add a sticker if I wanted to and comment. Somebody could reply back. I can resolve that comment when I'm done. So as the teacher, I can go around and give that real-time feedback to students. Okay, I love it. I love to see everybody playing and having fun with oh my gosh, that's scary. Having fun with the background remover and all of the things. I want to share a couple of things that I want you to explore. This is be more of a deep dive, so I'm not going to spend time today. But if you go down into the more menu, you are going to find lots of extra things your students can draw. So in primary, if you wanted them to trace letters and maybe you wanted to put a letter of the alphabet on here, maybe you uploaded something from somewhere else, and you wanted them to trace their letters, they would be able to go in here and use the draw tool to trace over over their letters that you have added to the template. They would be able to draw right on their screen. I'm just using my mouse right now, but they would be able to just use their finger to draw on their screen, or they could use a stylus. Also, QR code remover, or QR code creator. You can bring in emojis. You're going to be able to bring in and embed things, so lots of options there as well. Also, the character builder, especially for your primary teachers, is a great way for your students to create storybooks in class as well. There's a lot of great options that you can use as far as organization. So if you wanted to have all of your designs brought into a specific folder, you would be able to bring them into folders. You also are going to be able to check version history. So if a student maybe accidentally deleted a slide, or maybe you want to go back to the original version, you would be able to go into version history and be able to retrieve a past version of something that you created. You also can make a copy of things. So if you wanted to copy this and make another copy to use for maybe another class period, you would be able to do that as well. You also can resize. So maybe you made this as a presentation, but really you want to make it into an 11 by 8.5 so that you can print it on normal paper. You would be able to go in and select the dimensions you want, and then either resize what you have or make a copy and resize that. And so that's a great feature too when you want to change the size of something that you've already started creating in. You're able to tell analytics here, so I can tell how much engagement, how many views, how many unique links I have within this design. And then I also am able to have lots of sharing options. And so, for instance, if I wanted to have somebody just comment on something, I can click on comment, or just view, I can click on view and change my sharing status of the links for my designs. Everything that I use most often as far as sharing is going to show up right here. So because I've used these recently, these are going to be my options that show up. If you go into your More menu, there are lots and lots more options for sharing. As you use these, the things that you use most often are going to pop up into that row as well. You are going to be able to present and record. So let's say you created a presentation and you wanted to basically walk through that presentation and have your notes on the side, and you wanted like your picture overlaid on top of the presentation. So maybe you were going to share this with parents, maybe you were going to share it with students who were absent from your class. You're going to be able to go through and click through each slide and be able to record whatever you wanted to say. When you're done, you're going to click end recording, and then it is going to create a link for you to be able to share that however you want to share it, or download it as an MP4. So you're going to have both options. I'm just going to go ahead and cancel and discard that one. So really great way for your students too. Maybe your students create a presentation and you want them to record and share their presentation. So maybe you don't have time for everybody to present their presentation to the class, but they can share their presentation by recording it and then share it with you through Schoology. Also, everything that you create can be downloaded as a JPEG, PNG, PDF standard, PDF print, SVG, MP4 video, or GIF. So lots of sharing capabilities, and we'll also ask you what pages you want to print. So you can print all of them, or you can print just some of them, depending on what you wanted to download from your computer. So pretty much any way that you can possibly think of sharing in Canva, you can share. You also are going to be able to share directly from social media. So if you created a Twitter graphic, a Facebook graphic, an Instagram graphic, an Insta Reel, and you wanted to share that through social media, you're going to actually be able to create the post right here, and you're going to be able to post it to Canva, post it to that social media platform immediately, or you're going to be able to schedule it to share out at a certain time. So many options as far as what you can do. I also want to let you know that if you click on the / on your computer, you're going to get this magic menu of things. So if I open that up and I wanted to add a grid, a frame grid to my picture, I'm going to be able to automatically change that and bring in a frame grid. If I clicked the / and I wanted to bring in a text box, I would be able to immediately bring in a text box into my presentation. So it's a great little shortcut to be able to add things to your presentations really, really easily. Okay.
Confetti, please. Confetti, please.
Oh, confetti. Yes. Let me go. I'm going to go into my presentation and I got to show you all the magic shortcuts with presentations, and I will definitely throw confetti. So I'm going back into my presentation mode. And when you go into presentation mode, down here on the bottom, you are going to see there's a couple different little buttons. So if I click on here, I'm going to be able to access a remote control to advance my slides. I also can hide my magic cursor if I want, or I can start autoplay. If I click this little keyboard, it's going to show me the magic shortcuts, and there's some really cool ones. So we will start with confetti. So if I click the C on my keyboard, confetti is going to fall. So a great way to celebrate the amazing things that are happening in your classroom, celebrate students. If I want to build anticipation in class, I can click the D and I'm going to get a drum roll. If I want to blur my screen for a moment and just draw everybody's attention somewhere else, or maybe have them turn and talk, I can click B and it will blur my screen. One of my favorites is the timers. So any number that I click on my keyboard, it is going to bring up a timer for that amount of time. So if I click a 3, it's going to bring up a 3-minute timer. If I click on 5, it's going to bring up a 5-minute timer, etc. Maybe I want my students to be quiet. I can click Q and it's going to bring this emoji that's going to have everybody quiet down. So some really fun features. And again, it's just another reason why I love presenting in Canva, because not only can you create these amazing presentations that you can record over and you can share asynchronously, but you also have this live feature. You also have these magic keys that you can add these fun elements in the middle of a presentation. It really adds a lot of great things. Thank you, Bayer, for telling me that we started at 1:45. I've been presenting all day, so I feel like my head is mush. I couldn't remember. So that's fantastic. We're doing actually really good on time, so that makes me really happy. So I'm going to pause just for a second to ask questions. If you have questions, please put it in the chat. Any moderator, if you want to unmute, if there's questions that are coming in that you want to ask, I will listen for those as well. Are we good? Okay. Fantastic. So I am going to go into showing you how to use Canva in Schoology, because I think it's really important that when you are thinking of ways to bring this into learning, that you can figure out what that workflow is going to look like to make it really easy and intuitive to be able to give those assignments and to collect them back. So the way that Canva in Schoology works is you are going to log into you're going to do this from your Schoology LMS. So you're going to go into Schoology, you're going to select your course, you're going to click add materials, and then you're going to click on add assignment. And so in that assignment, you're going to add the assignment details, so the instructions, whatever you want to do to be able to share what your students are going to do for this Canva design. Then you are going to have you're going to click on insert content and select Canva for education from that. And then it is going to open up Canva for you, and you're going to be able to select the design that you want to add to your assignment. And it can be one that you already created. So maybe you found a book cover template, you want to use it. You're going to grab that from Canva when it opens up, and you can apply that to your assignment. And then you are going to finish assigning to students from your Schoology LMS by clicking create. And that would be a view only design. So if you are wanting it to be a template link, then there are other instructions for that. So if you want to create a template link for your students, you are going to click share from the share menu. and you are going to publish it as a template link. And you're going to paste that template link into your assignment instructions in Schoology. So where you would put that blurb of what you want students to do, you would paste the template there. And then that will force your students to create a new copy of the design, which they're going to be able to modify. And we'll make sure that every student has their own to edit and not an editable copy. And then students are going to log into, to complete this assignment, they're going to log into Schoology. They're going to select their course where they're going to see their assignments. And then students are going to click on Canva for Education on the left-hand navigation menu. If the Canva link was shared in the assignment, and then students will click to open that. And then students are going to create their design. And once they're done, they're going to share on the top right corner and copy the link. And alternatively, students can download their design and upload in their assignment. And so what I would suggest the first time you do this, and this is what I did with the ELA teacher in my district, is we did a fairly simple assignment that they could do in class. And she had everybody submit the assignment while we were in class together. So we could walk every student through the process. So it was a very low entry point assignment. Just wanted them to get used to Canva, learn how to turn in an assignment through Schoology. We were using Canvas. And it was just really great because that helped the teacher learn what this looked like when they're assigning an assignment and collecting them. It helped our students see what this looked like. And after that, she felt really comfortable assigning something that was a little bit of a higher cognitive load because we've already gone through the process and had them walk through it once. And then you can review your students' Canva designs from Schoology. You're going to click on your submissions. You're going to be able to see a link of the students' Canva designs, and then you'll be able to grade and give students that feedback. And so that's how that Schoology workflow works within your LMS. What's also fun is that if you click on Schoology course cards in the template library in Canva, you're going to be able to find different cards that you can upload into your Schoology course just to add a little bit of flair, personality, and again, you don't have to start from scratch. The templates are already there. You just make them your own, which is really fun, and then you can upload those in. So I have a question coming in. How do you share with students without them changing your Canva? Can they edit it? So that's where that template link will come in. So when you go to the share menu, the first time you are wanting to create a template link, you're probably going to have to click on that more menu at the bottom of your share menu, and you're going to publish it as a template link. That will be one that will be their own copy and no one else can edit. So the only way that students are going to all be editing within the same design is if you share a link with edit access. So again, it's like if you were in Google and you shared something with edit access that students would be able to all collaborate in, or people would be able to collaborate. Same thing in Canva. If you share it with edit access, people can all get in it. If you share the link as a view only or as a template link, they're either only going to see that thing that you created, or it's going to actually create a copy for everybody to have their own if you choose the template option. So good question. So Neil asked, where are those tools? So if you want to see what letter connects to each of the different magic things, you can click on the shift and the question mark on your computer and it's going to pop up. However, you can also create, there's cheat sheets within, I will share with you the link to the district hub where you can find cheat sheets for these if you want to print them up. But quick shift question mark, you're going to find the menu, and then you simply just click on that particular key on your keyboard and it appears. So if I click on my C on my keyboard, the confetti is going to get thrown. If I click on the 3 on my keyboard, I'm going to get a timer. So that's all you have to do is click the letter or number that's associated with that magic shortcut. Okay, I know I'm moving fast. I'm sorry, Neil. There's so many things. I can slow down and let me know if you want to try something. So please feel free, if you want to try some of the things I'm sharing as I'm presenting, please go ahead and do that. I know that there's a lot of things that I'm covering within this presentation. I want to go through kind of this Canva workflow, and then if we have time, maybe I will just have you guys search for a template and try to play within a design and then be here for those questions. So I like sharing the Canva workflow because it kind of shows you how to go from kind of that workflow one, where you are creating that resource, to more of that student agency and allowing them to choose. So for that workflow one, a teacher is creating a resource and sharing it with a student. And so it could be that a teacher is creating maybe a poster or an anchor chart they're hanging in their classroom, or maybe a teacher is creating a talking presentation that they're going to be giving to their students. So the teacher is creating that thing, they're sharing it with their students. That would be workflow one. Workflow two is where a teacher is creating an activity and then they're sharing it with students as a template link, and then they're modifying that and turning it in. So just like I shared with you through Schoology, you create the design template, you share the template link with them in Schoology, student modifies it and turns it back into Schoology. That would be workflow two. The third workflow, and some examples of that would be like a sorting activity or maybe a lab report. The workflow three would be a teacher creating a collaborative activity. So similarly to what I did with that beach scene, is you would create an activity that maybe a group of students or maybe your entire class would join into, and then everybody is working together to complete that design. And then lastly, and that could be a jigsaw activity, it could be a brainstorm, so many ways that you could create that for students. And then the workflow four is that the teacher is going to share guidance and expectations with the students, but then the student is going to create a design to demonstrate what they know. And so maybe you ask them all to create an infographic, but you also could say you have three choices. You could create an infographic, you could create a poster, or you can create a video, and give the student the choice of how they demonstrate what they know, and then have them turn that back into you. And some other examples of that would be kind of a summative unit project. Maybe they're creating, maybe they're even putting together a portfolio that they're going to share with you of all the things that they've learned. And so lots of different ways that students are able to show what they know, but you really can kind of progress to that workflow four once you really start getting to know Canva and starting to use it. So I would really encourage you, if you're starting out in Canva fresh and maybe you're the 1 or 2 level, start by bringing in something that you already created and just work on breathing some new life into it, whether that's a worksheet, a handout, an activity. Bring it in from your computer, bring it in from Google or Microsoft. The next step would be maybe to find a template, something that you would like to create in Canva, and start from there and start looking to see what you could do with that template and what you could create. And then you can start moving into having creating these activities where students can either collaborate together, or students can take a template that you have selected and modify that template. So we have about 15 minutes right now left. And so what I would love for you to do is to go into the template library. So you're going to go into this main home page, and I want you to search a template. So maybe something that I talked about piqued your interest. Maybe you're thinking about a lesson that's coming up in the next couple of weeks that you think maybe instead of doing it, maybe in a different way, maybe you've done a certain lesson, you know, over and over again. Now you want to try to bring it into Canva. Think about what that could be and start searching in the library for templates for it, and then start creating. And so I would love to see, I'm going to set my timer. We have 15 minutes left. So what I would love for you to do is I'm going to give you about 5 minutes to find a template and to start designing and starting to edit it. And then we are all going to share out the designs that we've created in a whiteboard template that I have created. So I'm going to set the timer for 5 minutes. There are 3 ways, remember, to find templates. You can either search here in this middle bar. You can click on this purple square and start finding a design from there. or you can go into the templates on the far left-hand side and you can create from there. So either any way that you want to start designing, but go ahead and start searching for things that would fit your content area that you would like to start designing. And I am going to go back to my presentation so that I can see questions that come in. And then when we're ready, I'm going to go ahead and share that link to the collaborative whiteboard. Okay, I'm going to give you 2 more minutes to finish searching. And when you are ready, there is a link here. It's yalkey.com/culture. And this is a whiteboard template. And whiteboards have not been around for very long. They were in beta a little bit at the end of the last school year, and they just brought it to, like, they took it out of beta in September. And so it's a great collaborative board, but it takes a little bit of getting used to because it feels different than collaborating within a normal design. In fact, I am still getting used to it myself, especially with really big groups of people. So we're going to give it a try. And if you would like to put in a thought about what you've loved, what you've learned, and questions and concerns you have, I'd like you to do that in the whiteboard. You're going to find when you click on elements on the left-hand side that the elements are a little different. You're going to find sticky notes. You're going to find some different stickers like you see down here in the number 2 spot. And so there's some options there as far as how you collaborate. It's a little bit different than collaborating again in the other way. So I am going to go there in just a second. If you have questions, please feel free to put it in the chat. I'll stay here for a second. And again, it's yalkey.com/culture to get into that collaborative whiteboard. I see some people in there now, and I made 3 of them. There's 2, 3, and 4. Looks like we've got a couple people in the second one. Don't have anyone in slide 3 and 4 yet, so those are slides you can jump into as well. When you click on the elements over on the left-hand side, you are going to see the sticky note options. You are going to see the whiteboard graphics that you can use. There's stickers, etc., that you can add to the design as well. And again, it feels a little different than collaborating in the other space. And so I just mainly wanted to bring you in here just to kind of see the differences. You can see when people move around, it looks a little different. You're seeing their entire name rather than just their initials. If I was to click on like this smiley face, I'm going to be able to bring that into my design here. If I wanted to add a sticky note, I can click on a sticky note over here and it will pop it into my design. And these sticky notes are text ready. So I can type right in that sticky note. I can make them smaller, bigger, and be able to share my feedback. So if you were in a classroom of kids, you might want to share. You may not want the entire class to be working in a whiteboard from the beginning. Maybe you have groups of students working in whiteboards as like a group project space where they can collaborate together, because it can be a little bit busy when you have a lot of people collaborating at once. And so then maybe once kids get used to working in this space, then you might be able to add more people to it and have more people collaborating. But it is kind of a neat option for having students do group work and activities. And you will find in the template library, there are lots of different types of whiteboard templates that you can choose from. So it's just, I love the options in Canva. It's not, maybe not every option is for you and your students and your subject area, but I think that there is something for everyone. That you can explore and really be able to create these amazing learning experiences for kids. So thanks so much for sharing that. I know that we just have a couple minutes left. I'm going to share the link to this in the chat in Microsoft Teams, but I also will be sharing all of the presentations with Matt Ketchum, so he will be able to pass those on to you as well. And I do not even know where my chat went in Microsoft Teams, so don't see the option to chat. So I will share it with him and then he'll be able to pass that on to all of you. I want to make sure that I leave you with some additional resources as well. So if you go to the Canva tutorials up in the Learn menu, so up in the very top here, you are going to find lots of tutorials and courses that you can jump into to learn more about Canva. So make sure that you check that out. There also is a really amazing teacher community on Facebook. So if you go to Canva Teachers Community, there's over 55,000 teachers that are continually sharing out ways that they're using Canva for education. So really powerful group. They have challenges. There's lots of awesome things happening. And then there also is a district hub. So you'll be able to click on this link in the presentation and you'll be able to find just about anything that you would want to know about Canva for education, for teachers, for administrators, for just about any role that you would play in education. You're going to be able to find things to support it. And I also would love your feedback. This will actually print out, or they will send you a certificate. So if you fill out this feedback form, you will get a certificate for completing the Essentials 1 training today. And I just have loved being with you all. Thank you for being here. Thank you for just exploring and being willing to try a new platform, a new tool. I think you'll really love it and have fun with it when you get going and start exploring. So I will stick around. If you have questions, I will go ahead and bring my presentation back up. If you want to unmute any of the moderators to ask questions, that is fine too, but I really, really appreciate you all joining today.